Hello. Hey everybody, I'll give everybody a chance to log on. I'll mix a little paint. Give y'all a chance to get on here and we will, or I will, paint some pumpkins. The best part of my day. Hey Debbie, how are you? I saw Christy putting photos of the kids up. It's so good to see that. I love seeing that. Even though this year's, nothing, it's all crazy, but I love seeing that and seeing the kids at least get to go to school a little bit, have a little bit of normalcy. I'm good today. Was a good day. I got all kinds of stuff done. And I think I'm kind of getting to the point where I don't want to jinx myself here, maybe I'm kind of getting to the point where the whole digital thing is getting better, easier, more familiar, whatever the word is. And because I don't know, for like 3 weeks in a row, it's like everything I touched just went to, a hell in a handbasket kind of thing. But I've hired 2 different people to help me out because I've kind of come to the point digitally, it's not my skill set. So they're doing the work, I'm not. Well, they actually, let's be clear, they know what they're doing and I do not. It would be like if somebody had to come in here and do this about, about teaching how to paint and they don't paint. That's kind of how I felt out of my element about the digital thing. So I've got several ladies working with me now and they're taking care of some stuff, and I was like, and they said, Mary, just you go paint and leave this to us. Now, you have no idea how much that was music to my ears. It's like, so anyway, so that it seems to be getting better because it's taking some stress off of me. And somehow I can't find my water. What? Somebody come and take my water? You gotta be kidding me. Well, so much for me thinking I had it all together, and I'll find that water. And y'all know I'm always using water, but who took my water? Really, people? Okay, y'all don't have to hold on. I have no water. Not good. I don't know why they took it. Hold on, let's go. I might have to go get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody took off with my water. I'm gonna raise you know what when I get off of here. So I'm gonna be painting small pumpkin, medium pumpkin, and of course our sunflower pumpkin. Lots of pumpkins because it's that time of year. I always love painting pumpkins. To me, they're super easy. I think everybody's into the pumpkin thing because we live in Texas and it's so hot all the time that, hey, anytime you can get anything to make you think about cooler weather. Well, Debbie, here's what I got to trying to hire some people to help me out digitally because I know what I'm doing painting, and at the shop we're good. CNCs, we know how to do that, all that good stuff. But, we have a website, and that has caused me a lot of grief because I build the back end, like the products, and I know how to do that, but I don't know how to do any SEO or, any of that kind of crazy stuff. That's not my skill set. That's not what I'm about. So, I just kind of had to go, no. We're going to get some help. So, I'm going to trying to decide what I'm going to do here. This is a 16 and this is a 12. There's quite a bit of difference, but I'm still going to go with the 16. That might be a little too big. We're going to try it. Now, what I did is I base coated all of these. The very first thing I did is I put 2 coats of the number 16 light orange. I did that on all of these. Make sure I'm telling y'all right. Light orange, yeah, 16. Did that on this. And then, of course, I came back with my Christmas green. And then you've got the light yellow. This is nutmeg, and this is black. So, I'm going to do some shading on this guy. This is what we call the medium pumpkin. And I've got this number 16. So, we're just going to kind of do some shading here. Going to kind of just work on it a little bit. What I do, if you notice at the bottom of this pumpkin, you've got some curves. I just kind of go with those. So let me tell you what I mean by that. I'll start over here. I'll lay that brush down and I'll kind of come up this way. And then I'll kind of do the same thing on this curve. Kind of just bring it up like that. Come over here. Let's see if y'all can see. There we go. Get it a little bit better there. So today's been a good day. It's been all crazy day. We've got a lot of stuff done, but hey, I don't mind it being a crazy day if you get stuff done. It's, you know, you feel productive. That's good. So I just kind of bring that up to here, right? And I'm going to kind of go down like that and up. And I'm not trying to make it, you know, perfect by any stretch. But that's really all the shading I'm going to do on that medium one. Hey, Miss Victoria. I missed you last night. I was, unfortunately, I had to get this big order in on the furniture. And if I don't do it by Monday morning, things don't go well. So I was working on that, but I went back and watched it this morning. And just loved what you did. I think, you know, especially those faces and that shading and, you know, getting necklaces and chins. And I love the eyeshadow. I love that. Thought that was super cute. So I'm taking this shading orange and I'm just kind of going with my script brush, my flat tip brush. You know, we call it a shading brush. And I'm just going to kind of go around here, make that there. And I would probably do something like this, like that. And you don't really necessarily have to do that, but there's really, to me, pumpkins, there's not a whole lot to them. Now this is that sunflower pumpkin. So what I do, if you notice up here, I'm kind of leaving this for a little bit later. But what I do is I'll go ahead and do, and you might do the same thing. If you know you're doing a couple of pieces that are similar, when you've got that orange in your brush. Hey Carla, how are you? So glad you could join me. Thank you. I hope lots of people will paint the trio. I think it's super cute, and Miss Victoria, I just think you did like over the top, awesome job. Between the blush on the cheeks, the eyebrow, the eye makeup, and even the brows, and that I loved what you did on that one chin, then you know, and all of that. So I think you did such a good job. I think a lot of people really enjoyed watching that. It's just kind of cool, and you probably feel this way, Victoria. Even though I love what I do. And even though, you know, I've got my own style, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, it is so nice to watch somebody else do it because I think you said it last night. I don't care who you are not done learning, you know. I've learned so much from you that it's just been super good. And I love being the teacher, don't get me wrong, but it's fun to be the pupil too. Yeah, she really did. You did such a good job on that, Miss Victoria. I went back and watched it this morning. So, hey Kimberly, how are you? So glad you could join us. I was just telling Debbie today's been a good day. I've hired some people to do some work digitally on our website because that's really not my forte, and I was kind of pulling out my hair. Not that I have a whole lot left. As I've gotten older, I have a lot less hair than I used to, so I don't need to pull any of it out. And I knew I had the right people when they said, hey Mary, you just go paint and leave this to us. I was like, hey, magical words, magical words. I've got a little bit of that orange. I'm just going to kind of do this on the beak. Just kind of give that beak a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do on the yellow. Now, I think sometimes you guys will see, Ashley's good about this. I don't do it as much. But Ashley does a lot of dry brushing on different things. And I think she really does a good job. Me, I'm not that good at it. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of this shading yellow, and the shading yellow is a number 14, right? I'm not going to put up, but just, you see, just a little bit. And this is a what the heck, y'all, number 12, I think. It's pretty small. 10, number 10. And I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on there, not a lot. And I'm just going to lightly touch it this way. Almost like what I'm just basically doing is dry brushing. Not trying to make it perfect in any way, shape, or form. Just trying to get kind of a look on there, if you will. I got to put a little more paint. I'm just doing it like this. And I'm going these are my little flower petals, if you will, on my sunflower. So I got a little bit much on that, so I'm going to come back and wipe it off a little bit. And I'm just doing some dry brushing here. Okay, so I got that. And I mean, just a dab of it. And while I have this out, what I'm gonna do is, because I know this is just the look that I like, and this is gonna be good if I have it, while I have this little brush. I've got some shading red right here. Now remember, if you don't have shading red, you can always put a little bit of red and black together. That's all it is. And I'm gonna kind of come around this nutmeg with this shading red. And I'm just putting a little bit in here, nothing perfect or anything, just to kind of give it a little bit of a shade on there. I think Miss Victoria has talked about it a lot, but she's so super right. You know, there's just no substitute for putting some shading in there to make it look really good, I think. So I've got this dark green. I'm gonna put some water in here. As y'all know, I'm always putting water in stuff. I'm gonna stir that up. You don't want too much water, but you do want that paint to move with your brush. And I've got my flat tip brush here. This is the number 12. I'm gonna just pick up some of that paint and I'm gonna come in here like so. And you can just kind of come in here and make it a little bit softer. Just doing my leaves with this dark cream. I'm going to bring it in here like that. I'm going to come down here like that. But I need to do just a little bit, get a little bit more paint on here because that's a fairly big area. I'm going to just kind of making the veins of the leaf, if you will. This sunflower pattern, I probably have had it. My dogs are so ridiculous, y'all. I've had this pattern a long time. I've done it. It's one of my fall favorites, I think. So while I have that green, okay, I'm gonna bring this over here. Using this same number 12 shader. Something like that. Here we go. Something like this. Kind of bring that in here. Kind of just kind of touch on it a little bit, very lightly with that brush. I'm just making that shading a little bit darker, okay? And then we've got the medium. I have so much trouble with the shading red. It separates on me. Do I have it? Yeah, you have it too thin. So what you can do on that shading red, if it's separating like that, make sure that if you want, Debbie, just take some regular red and put regular red in there and stir that up, right? And that'll give you a little bit more body. But you probably have it too thin. Christy, hey Christy, how are you? I've learned so much from y'all. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we really, you know, Ashley and I were talking yesterday because we're reaching out to different people to see if they'd like to come on and teach different things, you know. And Ashley and I were talking about that. And it's so important, I think. We want to grow a community. We want a place where people who, you know, can come and say, okay, in this space, you know, this is about sharing and this is about trying to get people to the next level in their painting, you know. And we were even talking about maybe getting somebody to teach us how to do lettering and different things. And it's not about, you know, trying to see who's the best. It's just about trying to see, okay, if you want to learn this, then, you know, this person's good at teaching it. And if you don't want to learn it, that's okay. But also if you want to find a place, sometimes I feel good if I can go to, if I know I have a place that when things ain't going good, just like today, I found that I have several girls working for me now, and I call them and I say, this is not going good. What do I do technology-wise? And they're like, okay, here's what I want you to do. Because sometimes you just need somebody to say, okay, you've done this, 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 and right, but this part over here is what we got to work on. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Girl, I was thinking about all of y'all today with school. I hope it's going okay. I see a lot of the kids' pictures on Facebook where the parents are, you know, saying the first day of school and all that kind of stuff. So I can't even imagine what some of you teachers, counselors, and school folks are all going through, you know, to try to bring any kind of normalcy into the COVID-19 situation. Like there's anything normal about that, because there's really not. But you know, we'll get through it. There's no doubt. And but I don't think it'll ever go back to the way it was before this. It's kind of like you can't unhear the bell after the bell has rung. There's no unringing the bell kind of thing, you know. So I think that's kind of where we're at. So I've got my green. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit right over here. I have a y'all can't see it, but I have a ceiling fan right over here. And I want this green to dry a little bit for me. So what I can do is I can go back now. What is the first thing I did? The first thing I did was shading the orange. And since that's the first thing I did, since I've shaded everything, then I'm gonna pull out this red orange, right? If I can find, here we go. Put a little bit more paint in here, not a whole lot. I'm gonna get my script liner. I'm gonna put some water in here. And I'm gonna outline the orange part. And basically here's just what I like. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but my colors would be light orange, shading orange, red orange. For me, that gives me a bright, bright pumpkin. Now some people, they like pumpkins that are more dark colored. And I've seen some dark colored pumpkins that I just think are beautiful. But for whatever reason, this is a color scheme that I've always used. And the thing is, because we've always, I've been at the location there at our shop, I think since the early 90s, or probably 94, maybe 93, I don't remember. And so if I tried to change my color scheme now, a lot of folks would be upset. They're like, no, because I have so many pumpkins that this is the color scheme, you know. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of in a situation where I can't really rock the boat and change. But, so that's just kind of how I've always done my color scheme for pumpkins. Because I like really, really bright stuff. Not everybody's into that. So if that's not your thing, you can always tone it down. But, I think like if I put black on this as my outlining color, it just kind of makes it, it takes it from something really bright to something, I just don't think it looks good. Now there's a lot of times I do use black outline and I think it looks great. Now I have a little black crow here, but I am going to give him a little bit of an outline right here in this red. You could easily do this in white. It doesn't, you know, I'm just doing it in red because that's what I like. But you don't have to do that. And then I'm going to give it one or two streaks over here of the build, if you will. And while I have this, I'm going to kind of wipe this off a little bit because I don't want it bright. I'm just going to kind of lightly do this. Come back and get a little bit more. And I'm just doing a little bit more color on that sunflower petal. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to outline this part. And I think what I'm going to do too, since I've got this air conditioner is going, but I got the ceiling fan, I'm going to try to dry this tonight and show y'all once again how to do the poly, just so we can kind of practice on that. I just kind of basically do a dashed line up and down. I don't make it on this part, I don't make it a solid. I do make it a solid at the bottom of the pumpkin. When I'm on the bottom of the pumpkin, I do a solid line, right? And when I'm on the sides, I do a solid line. But in the very middle of the pumpkin, I just make it a dashed line. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of come in and wherever I have that shading orange, and then I'm going to kind of come up under here a little bit. I'm just going to drag that brush like I want it there. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and we're going to go over here to this guy. the medium pumpkin. This is what we call the medium pumpkin. So I've got to put a little bit more on here because this is a bigger pumpkin. When I get up here, I'm going to do that dashed or dotted line, if you will. Because I don't want to put too much red of this red orange. I want some on there, but I don't want too much. I'm going to go like that, like this. Dash line when I get up here. And now when I'm on the outside of that pumpkin, I make a solid line. That's just, I always outline it solid and solid at the bottom. But in the body, I just pick that brush up and down and dash it. Yeah, kind of like the pumpkin challenge, yep. So, we are doing all kinds of things today. We got a lot of stuff done, so that was a good day. And like I said, when I had the girls tell me, don't worry about it, you just go paint, we're going to do this, I was like, yes, music to my ears. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let this green dry just a little bit more. I'm going to bring this over. And I'm going to go back to, I'm going to keep my script liner, but I'm going to go back to my shading orange. And I'm going to just, I didn't wash my brush out because I don't feel like I need to. But I'm going to come in here and I need to outline my flower petals on my sunflower. And I'm just filling in where those the CNC has grooved those lines. Okay, and I got one more petal. Now, I've seen Miss Victoria do this, and it's certainly a way you can do it. I want dots in here, so you could always just do your bottom of the very tip of your paint, the end of the paint stick here. Now, I'm just kind of putting in random. You could use this, or you could use either end, either way. Let me rinse this off. And we're gonna put some red dots in there too. Or orange red. Get this going. So I'm going to pick up that orange red, kind of get a little bit here on the end of the handle of my brush. We're not trying to make anything difficult. There you go. There you got some dots. I may come in and put some white dots in there too. All right, so I have my script liner in, and I will go ahead on my leaves. And I will go ahead and outline those leaves in black. So I have my black. Hey Ashley, it says, hey y'all, so sorry I'm late. Hope everyone's doing well. I think we are. I was telling everybody, Ashley, I was having a pretty good day today because I was on a Zoom call with some of the ladies that are going to be working on the website. And they said the magical words. They said, leave it to us, we got it. You go do, what you're going to do. I was like, what? I don't think anybody's ever told me that in the history of technology issues. It's like, when they told me that, I was like, I love y'all. Love y'all. All right. So I'm going to put some black on this script liner. Right? Y'all know that a lot of times I'll take that brush and really load it up. I do need quite a bit of black on these leaves, I think. So I'm going to put a little bit of a thick line there. You don't have to make it that thick if you don't want it. And I'm going to just go right in there where that CNC line is. That's all I'm doing. Like that. Come in here like this, following that line. And then I'm following where I did the dark green shading. I'm gonna come over here. And come over here like this. At the bottom of my crow, where my crow joins the green leaf, kind of fill that in. Okay, yes, I think I'm good on that as far as the black. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna swap this out. And I'm going to, isn't that nice actually when they were saying, hey, you just go do what you need to do and we got this. Okay, nobody had to tell me twice on that. Ashley knows the struggles I've had with trying to find the right people to help me technology-wise. So, I think I made some headway today, y'all. Such a good feeling. Alright, so I'm just making my leaves. That's all I'm doing. And come up like this. Like that. And do this, 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 this. Here we go. And I'm going to come over here. Now I'm done with this guy except for, hey Lynn, how are you? Hey Lynn, I saw your photos of your RV. Wow, that's pretty cool. I was impressed that you guys did all that work. That's very impressive. I mean, it looked like a lot of work, but it was like, man, that thing looked really nice. So impressive. So maybe now that you got it done, you can kind of enjoy it. You've done all that hard work. I'm just outlining my leaves. And notice when I'm doing my black, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to be meticulous. I'm just kind of, you know, being not real messy, but maybe a little bit messy, you could say. So, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to kind of do a little bit of black right in here, not a lot. Okay, so I think we're ready now. We'll do some white. Y'all know we always say that we always put a lot of, you know, a lot of times it's black or a darker color outline. You know you're getting to the end when you're doing that, but you're not totally finished yet. Got to do a little bit of white. I'm not going to put a lot of white in here because there's no need. I'm not going to use a lot, but I am going to put some water in there. And I'm going to just stir it around a little bit. And really, when you're putting highlights on there, you're not, the goal isn't to get a whole lot of paint. The goal is to get some white on there, but you don't want a ton of paint. That's why I kind of water it down a little bit. And then you'll see me, I'll kind of come in here and wipe it off on the side. And I just have a very, very light hand. I'm not pressing down a lot. Now, if you want more, then obviously you would press down more. Hey, Brian, how are you? Brian used to work with us, and then he moved from Pearland to, are you in Kemah, League City, somewhere like that, Brian? Anyway, he moved out of Pearland and went to a different place. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm just putting a little bit of white in there, enough to kind of give me some lightness, okay? I'm going to set this over there, and there's my pumpkin. And y'all, we've only been on like 30 minutes, and we're fixing to have 3 pumpkins done. So it doesn't take a whole lot, not a whole lot. I'm going to set this over here under the, I got a ceiling fan going. I'll start the hairdryer here in a minute. I'm going to do some polying with y'all tonight. And again, I'm going to do this white like this. I'm going to come up like that. Very light hand. I don't have a heavy hand on this at all. And I'm even going to come in here on my sunflower petals and do some white. Even though they've got quite a bit of color, I'm still going to do some white. I'm going to do this, 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 this. Even going to put some on the bill. And here's this little guy's eye. So I gotta fill in that eye. Here's this little guy's eye. What I do on this is I come out here and I just give him an outline like that. Not a whole lot to him. I'll probably do this like we did earlier with the handle. Let me rinse that off a little bit. Just got me some, just a real quick way to put polka dots on there. And, you know, there's not a lot to it. It's not hard. You just kind of put you some polka dots there with your handle of your brush and you're good to go. Okay, y'all. I'm going to show you this. I don't want to hold it up too much because I've got a lot of paint on the eye of this little crow. But you see, and there's our little crow. I don't want to set it up too much. Okay? Now, let's go put some white on our medium. Then I'll do a little bit of blow drying and I will show you some more technique on polying. I really want you guys that have been following us for a while to feel good about polying. And I know that that's sometimes a bit hard. There's a lot of questions about that. Again, I don't have a very heavy hand when I'm doing this. I'm gonna go like this. And you don't necessarily have to put as much white as what I'm doing. It's just that's just kind of my thing. I like a lot of white on there. I like a lot of highlight. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over here and get my trusty blow dryer. Hold on there, y'all. I have one of those wall-mounted extension cords. Here we go. But if I don't get it just right, where it'll kind of pop there and not, if I'm not careful, like I'll be blow drying and that stupid thing on the wall will go crazy and this whole thing will get sucked right back up in there. All right. So I'm just trying to dry this some to make sure that I can show you guys some polying. And while I'm doing that, today is the last day of August. Wow, August 31st. That's hard to believe. So tomorrow is September 1st. So I'll be on here Wednesday doing a boo bat and a turkey. And I tried to choose a turkey that was pretty easy because turkeys can be very hard because there's lots of shading on there. So I'm going to do that on Wednesday. Ashley will be here Thursday. She's doing pumpkin picking and happy fall pumpkins. So she'll be here Thursday. Tomorrow's September 1st, so our academy is opening tomorrow. It'll be open from the 1st through the 7th for those of you that might be thinking about that. It's $25 a month. You can cancel at any time. And we have 30 how-to videos and I think 50 project videos. So about 80 videos on that platform. Come back over here. I'm almost done now. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry and I want something to dry, I'll take my finger and just kind of rub over it a little bit. Not saying that you need to do that, but that'll just kind of help if you're in a hurry. So like I've got some paint here that's kind of globbed up on me. There we go. So I can dry this. I wouldn't normally do this part, okay? I wouldn't normally. Hey Dolores, how are you? So I can show y'all some polying. Getting there, y'all. Yeah, I made chicken and dumplings the other day, y'all. I make them with buttermilk and butter. Very good. Connie had some for supper tonight. So whenever you're ready to poly something, a couple of things about poly. You want to make sure, first of all, that your piece is very, very dry. And then you want to make sure it's on a flat surface. You don't want to poly at an angle because the poly will all run off, okay? So you want to make sure you poly all on a very flat surface. Make sure that if you're in the house, you got a ceiling fan going or something, because you don't want that poly to sit there and not dry. You really want to make sure it's dry. It dries pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to poly this top part, but I am going to poly the bottom part, because I think we're good. And I'm going to poly this, small pumpkin. So when you're ready to poly, if it's a piece that I'm not going to put glitter on, which in this case I'm not going to put glitter on here. So if I was going to put glitter, I could get away with the roller, but since I'm not glittering, I'm just polying. I've got this wall edger, okay? And I'm just going to put a little bit of poly here. I'm not going to do those leaves tonight because I'm kind of concerned about them being so fresh with paint. I don't have quite enough paint on there. I'm going to put a little bit here. And I push this down in there just a little bit, you know, to kind of get it to where I want it. And I'm taking this poly and I'm just kind of going across where I want the poly to go. No big deal. I'm in a well-ventilated area, so I've got my ceiling fan going. And remember, don't poly on a day. Don't poly outside when it's cold. When it's, of course, right now it's so hot you could get away with doing any kind of polying. But, you know, when winter comes, don't do it outside when it's cold. And if you're going to do it inside, make sure you got a little bit of a fan going or something. Because this poly is going to go on a little bit cloudy, a little bit milky looking, and that's normal. But it will dry clear. However, if this poly sits in a cold, wet environment and doesn't dry, when it does dry, it'll dry cloudy. So don't do that. Make sure you've got a ceiling fan going or hot weather outside. So I'm going to leave that on there, and I've just got, y'all can see that I just did the bottom. I'm not going to do the leaves because the leaves are still too fresh. I'll do that in the morning. Okay. Then I got this. I think we're good on this one. So I'm going to put some poly on here. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. Back and forth. Now, if you get too much on there, you can always kind of bring it off to the edge. Yeah, see, my black is running on me. Shouldn't have done that. That's okay. So when that happens to you, because when you're painting, sometimes things happen. I can still fix this, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of bring that black back up here. Now, I've got black right here, and I don't want that. So, I'm going to go here, see if I can get it out. Okay, this is why I don't poly a lot when I paint that night. But I really want y'all to see this, just, you know, for your own, making sure that you get a little practice. So, I'm going to bring that back in here, leave that alone. Now, I've got a piece here that has a lot of poly on it, and that's okay. I'm going to let it dry under the ceiling fan. Okay? But because I have so much poly, I don't want this thing to sit here in a cold, dark, damp environment. I'm going to put it under the ceiling fan, and we're going to be totally fine. So again, let's recap. I did this because I'm not putting glitter on here. If this was something I was going to glitter, you could get away with rolling it, and even if it had bubbles, when you threw the glitter on there, the bubbles would disperse. So when I'm doing a Christmas item that I'm going to put glitter on, I'll use a roller, and because a roller is real fast, and I'll roll it back and forth, and I'll shake that glitter on. But when I'm not, and I'm no glitter, I just use a wall edger. So hopefully that'll kind of help y'all. You can see I got quite a bit on there. So I'm going to set it over here under the ceiling fan, and it'll be dry in about 10 or 15 minutes. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I can't put poly on this guy because he's super wet. But we did the sunflower pumpkin, the medium pumpkin, and the small pumpkin all tonight. Had a good time with you guys. And I'll be back Wednesday. Ashley will be here Thursday. If you're thinking about joining the Academy, it opens tomorrow. I don't think it'll open again till January. But we'll be open for a week. So take a look at that. Hope you guys have a good day. Good evening at this point. Happy September 1st to y'all tomorrow. September 1st. Before you know it, January 1st is going to be here, y'all. So, y'all have a good one, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.